You clicked this video because you love your dog, maybe more than you love most people, and that's okay. I'm not judging, but here's what is worth judging. The fact that right now, today, you're probably doing at least 3 things that your dog experiences as emotionally painful. Not because you're a bad owner, because nobody told you the truth about how a dog's brain actually works. I'm not talking about obvious neglect, I'm talking about the everyday stuff. The hugs, the greetings, the way you say goodbye before work. There is one behavior on this list, number 4, that 94% of dog owners do out of pure love. And their dog's cortisol spikes every single time. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're not just going to understand your dog better, you're going to see them differently. And that changes everything. 1. Hugging them, the love trap. Let's start with the one that's going to hurt your feelings a little. Hugging your dog. I know, you do it every morning. It feels like the most natural expression of love in the world. But here's what's happening inside your dog's nervous system while you wrap your arms around them. Dogs are not primates. They don't have hands. Physical restraint, arms around the body, pressure from above, is not a gesture of affection in their language. It is a gesture of dominance, of being pinned, of losing control of their own movement. Documental of their own movement. Stanley Coren at the University of British Columbia analyzed 250 photographs of people hugging their dogs. In over 81% of the images, the dog was showing at least one clear stress signal: ears pinned back, head turned away, whale eye, lip licking, or a yawn. Your dog tolerates your hugs because they love you, but tolerance is not the same as joy. Now, some dogs genuinely love deep pressure. There's an entire therapeutic modality called deep pressure therapy, used in anxiety vests like the Thunder shirt, that harnesses the calming effect of sustained, steady pressure on the nervous system. The key word is steady, not squeezing, not restraint. What to do instead? Get low. Let them come to you. A slow full-body lean against your leg, that is a dog hug. That is them choosing connection. 2. Inconsistent rules, the anxiety machine. Is your dog allowed on the couch? If your answer is sometimes, you just identified one of the biggest sources of chronic low-grade anxiety in domestic dogs. Dogs are pattern recognition machines. Their brains evolved over 15,000 years to read the environment and predict what comes next. It is literally a survival mechanism. When the rules shift, when the couch is fine on Tuesday but you yell on Saturday, their nervous system cannot find the pattern. And a nervous system that cannot predict is a nervous system that stays in a low-level threat state. Researchers call this learned helplessness, a condition first identified by psychologist Martin Seligman, and it applies directly to dogs. When a dog cannot figure out how to produce a positive outcome, they stop trying. They disengage. They become what owners often describe as stubborn or dumb. They're not. They're exhausted. The emotional cost of inconsistency is higher than the cost of strictness. A dog who knows the rules, even strict ones, is a calm dog. A dog who never knows what to expect is an anxious one. What to do instead? Pick your rules. Write them down if you have to. Make sure every person in the house follows the same ones. Consistency is not rigidity, it's safety. But wait, because what comes next? Most people never connect this behavior to something that happens in the first 5 seconds of their dog's day. 3. Your anxious energy during goodbyes, the cortisol transfer. You know the scene. You're heading out the door. You crouch down. You hold their face. You say, "I'll be back soon, baby. I promise. Be good. I love you so much." And you wonder why your dog has separation anxiety. Here's the neuroscience. Dogs are co-regulation specialists. They evolved alongside humans to read our emotional states with terrifying precision. When your cortisol rises, because you feel guilty, because you're rushing, because you hate leaving them, they absorb it. Their own stress hormones spike in response. You are not comforting them. You are confirming their fear. You're saying, in their language, "This is a big scary thing. You should be worried." Studies from the University of Helsinki found that dogs mirror their owner's cortisol levels so closely that the scientists could tell whether a dog lived with an anxious owner just from a hair sample. What to do instead? Practice the art of the boring goodbye. Leave. No ceremony. No prolonged eye contact. And when you return, same thing. Give them 30 seconds to calm down before you engage. You're not being cold. You're being the calm, regulated leader their nervous system is looking for. 4. Forced socialization, the trauma disguised as fun. This is the one. The 94% behavior I mentioned at the start. You're at the dog park. There's a friendly lab bounding over. Your dog freezes. You say, "Go on." "It's fine." And you nudge them forward. Or you're at a family gathering. Your dog retreats under the table. Your aunt wants to pet them. You pull them out. Every single time you override your dog's no, their frozen posture, their turned head, their whale eye, you are teaching them one devastating lesson. Your signals don't matter. I won't protect you. This erodes trust at a neurological level. The amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes hyperactivated. Over time, a dog who was never protected from overwhelming social situations becomes a dog who bites. Not out of aggression, out of the only self-protection strategy they have left. Dr. Karen Overall, a board-certified veterinary behaviorist, describes this as the difference between a dog who feels safe with their owner and a dog who merely survives with them. What to do instead? Become your dog's bodyguard. When they're uncomfortable, you step between them and the trigger. You say, "He's not feeling social today." That is not babying them. That is building trust. And a dog who trusts you is a dog who will, over time, feel safe enough to explore the world. Here's where the science gets genuinely beautiful. Because it turns out one of the things that heals almost all of this takes less than 2 minutes a day. 5. Not letting them sniff, cutting off their internet. You're on a walk. Your dog stops to sniff a fire hydrant. You tug the leash. Come on. You just cut off their access to what researchers call P-mail, the olfactory information system that tells your dog who was here, what they ate, whether they were healthy, whether they were stressed, and whether they were in heat. A dog's nose contains 300 million scent receptors. Humans have 6 million. The part of their brain dedicated to analyzing smell is 40 times larger, proportionally, than ours. Sniffing is not a distraction. It is the point. Studies from Gaz's Cognitive Neuroscience Lab found that mental stimulation from sniffing tires dogs out more efficiently than physical exercise. A 20-minute sniff walk is more satisfying neurologically than a 45-minute jog on a tight leash. What to do instead? Schedule a sniff walk. No agenda, no destination they lead. Give them the whole length of the leash. You're not losing control. You're giving them the richest sensory experience of their day. 6. Punishment after the fact. The time gap problem. You come home. There's a mess on the floor. You show it to your dog. They look guilty. Ears back, tail tucked. That heart-wrenching guilty face. Here is the truth that will change how you see that moment forever. Your dog is not displaying guilt. They are displaying appeasement. They are reading your angry body language and responding to your current emotional state. The guilty look appears just as strongly in dogs who did nothing wrong, as long as the owner enters the room acting angry. This was demonstrated conclusively in Alexandra Horowitz's landmark 2009 study at Barnard College. The dogs who got the longest scolding, the innocent ones, whose owners were told they misbehaved. Dogs live in a 3 to 5 second behavior window. Anything that happened more than a few seconds ago is neurologically inaccessible to them as a learning moment. Punishment after the fact does not teach them. It only teaches them that your return home is unpredictable and frightening. What to do instead? Manage the environment. Don't leave the conditions for failure. And if something happens, breathe, clean it up, and refocus on prevention. 7. Not making eye contact with intention, the missed connection. We've talked about all the things that hurt. Let's end with the one that heals. When you and your dog gaze into each other's eyes, soft, mutual, voluntary gaze, both of your bodies release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between a mother and newborn, the same molecule at the center of human love. This was discovered by Dr. Takafumi Kikusui at Asabu University in Japan. Dogs are the only non-human species that has hijacked the human oxytocin bonding loop through eye contact. Wolves, even wolves raised by humans, don't do this. It is something that evolved specifically between dogs and humans. A 15,000-year-old biological handshake. But here's what most people miss. The gaze has to be soft. Direct, hard staring is a threat signal in dog language. We're talking about the relaxed, melting kind of eye contact that happens when you're both calm and comfortable. What to do tonight? When everything is quiet, just sit with your dog, let them come close. And when they look up at you, look back. Slowly, softly, hold it for 10 seconds. That is not sentimental. That is chemistry. That is a bond reinforced to the molecular level. 7 things, some of them are hard to hear. A few of them probably stung. But here's what I want you to hold on to. The fact that you're still here, 12 minutes later, watching a video about your dog's emotional world. That already makes you different. Most people never ask these questions. Most people love their dogs and never realize there's a deeper language being spoken every single day. You now know that your goodbyes can calm instead of spike anxiety. That your dog's stubbornness might actually be exhaustion. At the moment they look up at you from the floor, something ancient and chemical and real is happening between two species who chose each other. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present, consistent, safe. That's the whole job. If this video changed the way you see your dog even a little, subscribe, because next week we're going deep on the 7 things your dog does that are actually cries for help. And number 3 is one that vets see every single day and owners almost always miss. And before you go, drop your dog's name in the comments below, just their name. Because every dog watching this video through their owner's eyes deserves to be known.